I know that Pixels is not the most profound film ever, but I really do not understand the high level of negativity around this film, because I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think as long as you don't take it seriously, it should be pretty good fun. It was released in 2015, directed by Chris Columbus, written by Tim Herlihy and Timothy Dowling, and stars Adam Sandler and Kevin James, Peter Dinklage, Josh Gad, Brian Cox, Sean Bean, Jane Krakowski, Dan Aykroyd. The list goes on. Amazing cast, brilliant director, fantastic team behind this, and a really fascinating, if slightly ludicrous, concept. The description from IMDb is as follows. When aliens misinterpret video feeds of classic arcade games as a declaration of war, they attack the Earth in the form of the video games. If that doesn't sound like a barrel of laughs, I don't know what does. Straight away you can see from the kind of narrative we're dealing with that this shouldn't be taken seriously. This is not a serious sci-fi film about what would happen if aliens invaded. Although I guess you could kind of read that into it if you wanted to analyse the film from that perspective. I'm trying to work out if you need to be a big film of classic arcade games to be able to enjoy this, and I would say no. Because when I watched it the first time, I've seen it twice. The first time I hadn't heard of Covert. There were various characters in this who meant nothing to me, but I still enjoyed the visual design, the beauty in the graphics. The CGI is maybe not perfect, but it's clever, and it feels pretty realistic. Well, as realistic as it can be to have a giant pixelated Pac-Man ghost floating around, or whatever it was, whatever the characters are at the time. But I love it. I genuinely feel like it's great. You know, we have all of these classic characters that a lot of people love, and in a live action world, even if you take out the alien invasion aspect, it's still great fun. But I think you need to not be able to take it seriously. And if you are looking at this for a kind of more serious sci-fi that looks at some very interesting scenarios and how to get out of them, don't take it seriously. And that's the only advice I can give, and that's the only thing I can think of for why this may not be the most well received, because the cast is great, the directing's great, the acting's great, the CGI is decent, not the best I've ever seen, but it's good. The narrative is fascinating, very, very unique. The execution is great. The way the arcade game characters are incorporated doesn't feel too forced. It feels as natural as it can be, given the narrative design. It flows from start to finish. I didn't feel like the pacing ever slowed down. I never felt like it dragged at all. It's good fun, and I really enjoyed it, and I don't see where the problem is. As long as you're not looking for a serious sci-fi that looks at alien attacks, then I think you'll enjoy it. I don't think you need to be into video games. It helps, but I think there's still an element of fun there because it's creative, it's a little bit crazy, it's a bit wacky, but ultimately it is good fun, and Pixels, despite what the ratings say, is a good film.